Okay, guys, how we doing? Just thought we'd start off today with a little bit of calendar. So let's start with this very first problem. So we are going to solve this for fractions, and we're going to solve it also using decimals. So first thing we want to do is we want to get over here, and we're going to figure out just exactly what it would be as fractions. So I'm going to pause just for a sec. This side, first side right over here, to solve it as fractions. So how much is a nickel? So this is a nickel right here, our coin. How much is a nickel worth in value as a fraction? So we are going to go 1/20th or 5/100ths. 1/20th is lowest terms. Okay, so we can pick either one. In this case, I'm going to use 1/20th because it's lowest terms. So I'm going to add 1/20th here and 1/20th here. Okay, add those on this side. 1/20th plus 1/20th is 2/20ths. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. 1/20th plus 1/20th. And that's going to give us 2/20ths. So I'm going to take both sides, put them together, and bring them right here. 2/20ths, oops, wrote tenths. 2/20ths plus 2/20ths. Add these fractions up. Remember, we do not add denominators, so all we have to do is add those numerators and slide the denominators down. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Slide down the 20. And we have 4/20ths. Now, 4/20ths can be reduced. So I'm going to erase this really quick. And I'm going to say 4/20ths. Sorry about that. 4/20ths. I'm going to take the greatest common factor of both those numbers, 4 and of 20. Now, the greatest common factor, I can't go any smaller than 4 on here. So I have 1 times 4, 2 times 2. And with 20, we have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times, oops, 4 times 5. Bring that down here. And when we look up here, we can obviously see that the greatest common factor of both numbers is 4. So I'm going to take 4/20ths. It equals itself with a long line. And then I'm going to divide both numbers by the greatest common factor. So divided by 4 and divided by 4. What that will equal is 1/5. Okay, let's go on to our next problem. Okay, so now we've got to figure out the area of this. So let me make it a little bit larger for now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out just what we are in. Are we counting by quarters or are we counting by eighths? Okay, so as I go over, I know, and I'm going to highlight right here. Give me just 1 second to highlight. I know that this is 1 hole straight through here. Okay, and that 1 hole has 8/8. So I can see that it's not going to land directly on 7/4. So if I was to go all the way over here from the start to 1 hole, from 0 to 1 hole, it's 8/8. Now let's just count from here. 9/8, 10/8, 11/8, 12/8, 13/8, 14/8, 15/8. Okay, and that would be right, because if we turn 7/4 into eighths, it would be 14/8. So 14/8 is to here. We went 1/8 more. Therefore, our length of the whole thing is going to be 15/8. So we're going to write down 15/8 for our length from here all the way to here. And we know that area equals length times width. Now we've just got to do the width. 1 whole goes to here. So once again, we would have 8/8, and it's not on 5/4, so it's going to be 9/8, 10/8, 11/8. So from that point right here, it's going to be 11/8. So here is 11/8 from the top all the way to where it is right here to the bottom. So now all I've got to do is take my formula and say area equals, and I'm just going to use a long line under this, 15/8 times 11/8. So now we've got to do 15 times 11, which is the same as 15 times 10 plus 15 times 1. So that's going to be 165 over 64. I'm going to give you a second to catch up. Now, I'm going to give you 30 seconds right here. And I want you to do fractions as division and do 165 divided by 64. I'll set it up right on the side. So here is 165 divided by 64. Take that little timeout right there, figure it out. Okay, so you've had a little bit of time. How many 64s, how many groups of 64 are there in 165? And we know that there are 2. Okay, 2 times 64 is 128. Now I cannot do 5 minus 8, so I'm going to borrow from the 6. I'm going to regroup it and make it into 5, 10s, and 15 ones. 15 minus 8 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. There's nothing left to bring down. So I'm going to put 37, 2 and 37 64ths. So we have 2 answers here. You could have had 165 64ths or 2 and 37 64ths. It's the area. Now remember, area just means how many square units. Okay, so it has 2 whole square units, which would be the amount. If you go with 2 whole square units, really quick, guys, 2 whole square units would be all of this unit right here, all of this unit right here, and then a little bit more. All right. Let's go on to our lesson. Okay, so we are going to immediately start working on something brand new. And we are going to be converting units, okay, from one unit to another. So this isn't really difficult. So let's just do the first one together. So this is where you'd want to get out a piece of paper. Okay, have that ready. And remember, you can hit pause. So if this isn't working out for you, just hit pause and everything should go pretty good. Okay, so first thing we're doing is we are going to convert weeks to days. So the book writers want us to figure out how many days are there in 8 weeks. So, and I want you to pay really close attention to these parentheses. So we have 8 weeks equals 8 times 1 week. Now, whatever's in parentheses is what you are going to convert. So when we do our group practice where we are converting things, and you'll say 1 week, 7 days, 1 year, 365 days, This is how you figure it out if it's more than just 1 unit to what it trades for, what it converts to. So 8 times 1 week is the same as 8 times 7 days, and then our total will be 56 days because 8 times 7 was 56. Okay, so piece of paper, we are converting years to days. Okay, so we have 4 years is the same as 4 times 1 year. So now we've got to know how many days are in a year. So we remember 1 year equals 365 days. So our trade or our conversion, this is going to be the same as 4 times 365 days. I'm going to make this slightly larger for you. So now just over on the side or in the box, you're going to do 4 times 365. So here's 365 times 4. 4 times 5 equals what? 20. Put down the 0. Carry the 2. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 2 more is 26. Put down the 6. Carry your 2. Now you just do 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 2 is 14. Therefore, 4 years is 1,460 days. Now, if you were checking that, you would take 1,460 divided by 4, and your answer should be 365. Okay, meters to centimeters. So think about this. 1 meter, I'm going to put it on the side, equals how many centimeters? 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Okay, so now I want you to get right into this and say, so 9.2 meters is the same as saying 9.2 times 1 meter. Okay, catch yourself up. Now think about what our next one is going to be. So we are going to be taking this next one and saying, okay, 9.2 times what? How many centimeters? So we're going to take 9.2, same thing. Notice that that unit doesn't change. And now how many meters change to centimeters? Or better question, how many centimeters are in a meter? Once again, it is 100. So we have 9.2 times 100, and that just means I can move my decimal 2 places. Look at this right here, 9.2. If you multiply it by a power of 10 times 100, I'm going to slide that 9.2, 2 spaces, 1, 2, and that's going to leave me with 920. Okay, now it's kind of our turn. We've got to set it up the same way. 5 yards or 5.7 yards equals, so we're going to put a little space right here, times, and now it's important you put it in parentheses because of the fact this is what you are going to be converting. So 5.7 yards equals 5 7/10 times 1 yard. Okay,